Sometimes things that are beneficial in our lives, it takes some kind of uncomfortability.
The more truthful you live to yourself, the more authentic existence you're going to have.
I'm sold. I'm ready to apply. Hi, my name's Jocelyn.
Hi, I'm DJ. It's nice to meet you. So tell me about kind of what got you started at Montgomery College.
Well, I came from high school. I had 2 jobs, and I decided that I didn't want to go to school. First, I wanted to get the money. You know, sometimes students, they have a problem with picking money over education or education over money. So I decided I would take education first.
I think that sounds exactly like me. I tried kind of college for a semester. I'm from Florida originally. I tried college for a semester, and I realized that there's this expectation that you need to pick what you're supposed to do at 18, and that seems like an insurmountable thing because I haven't experienced the world yet. So I went ahead and worked just like you, and now I'm back at Montgomery College trying to get that degree.
I completely agree with you. I definitely came from a background where I have 2 kids, so I had to adjust and have that schedule. So I definitely respect that.
So, I mean, you kind of brought up schedule. Like, is routine a pretty big part of your life at this point? I mean, with 2, I don't have any kids, so
I'm happy
I'm
you
like,
asked that.
Tell me, yeah.
Well, I have to pay for time. That's how I look at it. I have 2 kids, so it's either 2 days, 3 days a week. I'll put aside that education, and then the rest I'll put aside towards taking care of my kids. In the meantime, that's what I'm focusing on, but as far as making money, I'm on that track.
I love that. What are you going to Montgomery College for?
Well, right now it's general studies, and I'm going into communications.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I just actually had my first communications class last semester, so that was a really cool experience seeing I don't know, I always looked at it as just talking, but it's way more than that. Communication is so much more in depth.
Yeah, you can definitely develop your confidence in working in front of people and groups on the spot.
I came back to school a little bit later, like you did, and I felt myself like, do you ever do this where you're comparing where you're at versus where like the 18-year-old student next to you is at?
I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because I feel like society has set up this social media where you look at people's pages and you look at how far they've been, how much money they're making, what career path they chose. And when you look at that and you look at your age, you feel like I'm behind. I have to hurry up. I have to keep going. I have to catch up. So,
and it just feels like we tie this like identity to making sure that you're always, it's always so career motivated, it's always so money motivated, when I think the fact that you've fallen in love with learning, I think, is just as much a part of the process of college as getting that degree and walking down walking across the stage. It's sort of like you're almost leading by example, and
right.
I don't think a lot of parents, when they have kids, they're also not going out for degrees. So I think it's really cool that you're able to physically show and lead by example with education.
What's your major?
I'm a television major. So I am a broadcast media television major. I've always been obsessed with TV. I joke that TV raised me. All I want to do is just make content for television, for social media, just anywhere that there's a screen, I want my stuff on it,
How old are you?
So I'm 27 years old, and I didn't think that like age gaps were a thing until I went back to college. There is something about, when you're with a 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 21-year-old student that you look at and you just think, oh no, you haven't made the mistakes I have yet. But it's fun to kind of be around younger people, which is weird to say at 27, but it really does feel cool to be around younger people, and I get to pick up on cool slang and.
Right. I mean, it's good to be older because then we can have like an impact on the youth and being able to warn them on the mistakes that they can shy from when it comes to like our own experiences.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. Like I am really lucky in the broadcast media department with the previous experience that I have and the experience I'm getting as a part of the MCTV internship program. I'm able to impart all of that stuff to all of my friends in my classes, and at the end of the day, all of our content looks better for it. I think that we can get caught up in, especially in some of the smaller majors, you can get caught up in almost a what am I doing compared to what the person next to me is doing. But I'm really lucky to be in a program where it's so collaborative and everybody's working so hard to create something together.
Yeah. So what is the internship program and how do I get into it?
Well, the MCTV internship program is, in my opinion, it's a once-in-a-lifetime internship experience. You're working alongside actual producers, actual editors, actual directors, everybody in all aspects of production, and you're learning how a real television station works.
Like today.
Exactly like today, right? It's a real course in filmmaking, is television making and creating content. And I've been so lucky to be a part of some of their, I took over their Instagram for a day. So I was really able to put my own kind of identity and mark on the program, or on their page. And I was able to showcase different like tips and tricks that I picked up while here at Montgomery College that I think students would love to know. It was a really, really cool experience, but that's what I guess I take the most away from it is that you get to do everything. You get to do simultaneously everything and anything, which is a very cool experience. And if you're interested in joining it, you just go to the MCTV portion of the Montgomery College website, and under student opportunities, there's a form you fill out, a little application and cover letter. You drop it off to the MCTV offices and you go through the interview process, and then here you are. And one of the cool things you get to do is work with the Smithsonian. We do some of their social videos for their Folklife Festival in the summer. We cover most Montgomery College events. We do this really cool event called Chautauqua over on one of the other campuses. And in that, the student interns actually get to direct, which is a very cool feeling of like, they're calling camera shots left and right, and is audio ready, and CG, and go and take this, and you feel like it's so cool. It's a really, really fun experience.
It sounds fun. I'm sold. I'm ready to apply.
Jocelyn, it seems like you kind of have it all, right? You're a Latin woman with kids, back at school, when you're on campus, right? And you come across just any sort of scenario. Do you feel like your background as either a parent or even just having kids, does that prepare you for college in any way? Like, what is it like being able to kind of apply the things you're learning as a parent into your school?
Well, having kids, I think it's more of a motivation. Sometimes when I do a speech or I present, I'll take like my daughter's bracelet and I'll just like hold it under my sleeve and I'll rub it against, and I'll just like, as confidence, just to have confidence and just luck. But as far as anything else, I have to depend on solely myself. I can't take them with me everywhere.
That is I didn't think I was gonna like tear up on this. So that's really cool. Like, I think that's an amazing thing to get strength from. A lot of, we're always told like, you always get strength from your parents, but I've never thought just because they don't have kids.
Well, they have a great.
You're able to pull strength from them too. I think is such an interesting kind of relationship.
So I have to ask, where do you come from?
Oof, that is a question. I'm a Florida native, actually. I met a girl on the internet. Um, she was a UMD student. We met for lunch one day when I was working up here for some work, and we started dating long distance. And we dated for long distance for about a year and a half. And I was like, you know what? It's time to close the distance. And I threw out everything I owned and packed up the remaining stuff in 2 duffel bags and 3 boxes. And I moved up to Maryland, and here I've been ever since.
That's faith. You took a leap of
Yeah,
faith.
I really did. It was a calculated risk. I like to kind of look at it as it was the best decision. So it was simultaneously the best and scariest decision I've ever had to make, was moving up here and leaving my family and making an entirely new life for myself.
I'm glad you got out of your comfort zone, because sometimes things that are beneficial in our lives, it takes some kind of uncomfortability.
Well, you know, it's funny you mentioned uncomfort. When I moved up here, so I'm bisexual. I moved up here about 5 years ago, and it was around that time that I came out, because in Florida and the environment that I grew up in, being able to express yourself and be open wasn't okay. And that's not a reflection of Florida, that was just the environment that I grew up in. It was only once that I took that risk of leaving and being with my now fiancée that I was able to really understand and express myself how I've always wanted to express myself. And it's been nothing but a positive thing coming up here.
Wow. That's great. I think you represent a lot of groups.
I think it's a matter of living your truth, right? And that's an overused expression, but the more truthful you live to yourself, the more authentic existence you're going to have. And the more fulfilled you are going to be at the end of the day.
Yes. And then you can learn how to be optimistic and genuine and make sure people feel you the way you want to be felt.
It's eloquent. I like that, yeah.
From coming from a Christian background, believing in Jesus Christ, I fully respect everything and anything you have to say. I love everything that you have said today, and it inspires me to make sure that everyone that I meet feels the love and comfort and respect that you have felt today.
I really appreciate that. I think just as humans, we should always try to be comfortable and open and honest with each other. Even if our views don't align, I think it's important that we still have a respect between each other. This has been a really amazing conversation I've been able to have with you today, Jocelyn. You're one of a kind person. I don't think I would have been able to have this conversation with anybody else.
I think that you're unique and that you're special, and that anything that is important to you, go for it.
Gosh, thank you so much. Can I give you a hug? I'm gonna give you a hug.
Really, DJ.
Yeah, it was nice meeting you too.